Are wars narcissistic abuse on a large scale? I would argue that in most cases they are, because behind probably most wars in history there was a pathological narcissist that manipulated the people into wars and violence and hatred using the same narcissistic abuse strategies that they use on a small scale within families and companies. On a large scale, they normally pick a neighboring nation or a minority towards which people already have some either historical conflicts or resentments or negative feelings towards, and they take this spark and fan it into a big flame of hatred to the point that people are ready to kill for the narcissistic leader. And that's the drill. That's been going on for thousands of years. So why am I making a video about narcissistic abuse and wars? Because I think that people don't see it enough and don't understand it enough from the psychological point of view. People focus on some political details, and I'm totally not interested in politics, and I don't understand it or want to understand it. But I am interested, unfortunately, because of personal experience growing up in a narcissistic family, in a narcissistic personality disorder. And also, I think that awareness of these patterns is very important, because narcissists feed off of conflict. They create it. They need it. So if we elect them to power, they will create conflict between countries where military is involved, and we don't want that. So it's very important that we raise awareness and that we do not elect high conflict personalities or narcissists, specifically malignant narcissists, are most prone to cause wars. It's important we don't elect them, and it's important we don't become their flying monkeys or their little helpers. Flying monkeys are actually people who execute dirty work for the narcissist. They support them unconditionally, and they are brainwashed. Eventually they realize what's going on, but then a lot of the time it's too late and a lot of damage has been done. I'll make another video about flying monkeys. Not all narcissists start wars, but they all see enemies everywhere, and they cause polarization that can lead to civil war, for example. If your neighbors are Canadians and Mexicans, you better turn into inside and look for internal enemies, or just, even if they are just supporters of the opposing party. I want to just go through a few typical narcissistic abuse strategies using the example of Slobodan Milosevic, who started the Balkan Wars, and he was a pathological narcissist, probably malignant narcissist. He was diagnosed by someone, probably remotely, because I don't think they go to therapy ever. They don't feel they have a problem. Milosevic, how he manipulated people. First, there's gaslighting, so lying to confuse people or to make them doubt their reality. Milosevic spread lies through the media to make people doubt their reality. For example, he told Serbs that other ethnic groups were planning to harm them, even though it wasn't true. For example, Nikola Tesla was a Serbian Croat, so he was born and raised until he went to America, lived in Croatia, and I don't think he felt endangered there, and for centuries, I don't know history either, but Serbs, I know that Serbs and Croatians have lived together and have married each other, and there was no need to protect the Serbs from Croatians in Croatia. Second strategy is projections, blaming others for his actions. So he often blamed others for the violence he caused. For example, when Serbs attacked Dubrovnik, he claimed it was the fault of foreign enemies or local rebels, and he avoided responsibility and made other guys look bad, which is their expertise. Then there was triangulation, or turning groups against each other. As I already said, he stirred up hatred between ethnic groups, Serbs, Croatians, and Bosniaks, and he was reminding people of the old conflicts and spreading fear, and Serbs started feeling they needed him to protect them. He made himself look like a hero with emotional manipulation. He represented himself as the only leader who could save Serbia. And yeah, he was dismissing his critics as traitors. That feature, that trait was also present in the Croatian president at the time, Tudjman, who, it's not fair to compare him because he was not on the aggressor side, but he also had narcissistic traits and later turned into a proper dictator, and we had to get rid of him. I mean, we didn't kill him, we voted him off power, especially when he banned the free speech radio 101. Everybody spontaneously, the whole Zagreb spontaneously came to the main square and just to say no to the banning of radio 101. That was even before Facebook, so I think. So yeah, it was completely spontaneous. Then there's smear campaigns or attacking opponents. So Milosevic used state media to ruin the reputation of anyone who opposed him, including political rivals and journalists. And this made it hard for anyone to trust anyone but him. So if you do have a narcissist in your life, then you know about smear campaigns. Maybe you don't even know, but you feel that somebody is antagonistic or unfriendly towards you, and you're wondering why is this person, what do they have against me? But you can be sure that the narcissist told them lies or told them that you said something against them or did something. So that's what they do. They ruin your reputation. They tell people lies about you. Using fear to stay in power or intimidation. So narcissists like to use threats and violence. For example, Milosevic's government carried out secret attacks and blamed others for them. Milosevic used lies and manipulation that led to war, and then led to deep divisions between ethnical groups that still exist today. When I worked as a Facebook moderator, I noticed that there is still a lot of hatred between ethical groups, and I was especially, Serbs against Muslims and stuff like that, and Croats, and on the Croatian side too, a bit less, I think. That was my impression. I was in charge for one of the people in the team, Western Balkans team. And yeah, I got the impression that if we choose another narcissistic leader, there's going to be another war, because there were even younger generations showing hatred and using hate speech. If you select them privately, especially as a spouse, they will destroy your life. If we elect them into positions of power, they will polarize and cause conflict and, in the worst case scenario, wars. So I believe the subject of narcissism, pathology of narcissism, or narcissism in power, any of this, but they have to be introduced as a subject in every school, because it's one of the most important things people have to know. Also, another reason for that, not just as a prerequisite or condition to be able to vote in the first place, but also in order to prevent flying monkeys, to prevent people from becoming flying monkeys, because if everybody's aware what's going on, they're less likely to support them to become flying monkeys. And without flying monkeys, they can't do nearly as much damage. One of the reasons it's important to prevent them from even being a candidate for a position of power is that once people start supporting a narcissist, they rarely change their mind. It's hard to reason with them and change their mind because of multiple reasons that I will talk more about in the Flying Monkeys video. Eventually, a narcissist will turn on everyone, even their most loyal supporters. And eventually, the truth will come out. The truth is undrownable. It can swim very well. The truth has legs. That's a positive thing about all this. They do get exposed, and the flying monkeys do realize that they've been manipulated. The whole nations, like in the case of Balkan War Serbs, they do understand with time they were manipulated, and they do understand it, but it's often pretty late with many people dead and a lot of damage done. We can't afford time to wait for the truth to swim out. We have to be aware of the damage narcissists do, and we have to stop electing them in power. Thanks for watching, and thanks for not voting for narcissists.